Mirrors on the ceiling, pink champagne on ice, and she said, "We are all just prisoners here, our own device. And in the master's chambers, they gather for the feast. They stabbed it with their stealing eyes, but they just can't kill the beast. Last thing I remember, I was running for the door. I had to find the passage back to the place I was before. Relax, said the night man. We're programmed to receive. You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. Welcome to another exciting episode of The Unrelenting Alchemist, where we talk about the spiritual topics here that you wanted to know about. And so let me take you to a story now. In the shadows of a forgotten temple, dark spiritualists had gathered beneath a blood moon, and they were whispering these incantations older than time. Their intent was sinister. They were intent on sacrificing an innocent soul in exchange for luck, fortune, destiny, and forbidden power. This chosen one, marked by divine favor, radiated the light that they could never harness, only extinguish. Cloaked in secrecy, they bound this victim in ritual, and they were hoping to twist his spirit into servitude. Yet power taken this way to harm always has a cost. As the blade neared, the air thickened with ancestral fury, because what was meant for domination unraveled into divine retribution, reminding all that true power can never truly come from this kind of corruption, but only from true alignment. So this episode is Beyond Love and Light, the sacred balance of darkness as well as illumination in spiritual practice. We'll begin with the half-truth of love and light. In the modern spiritual movement, a phrase is often repeated in the vernacular and parlance like a mantra. Love and light, ashe. It's used in meditations, it's used in blessings, affirmations, and even casual spiritual conversation. On the surface, the sentiment is seemingly harmless enough, right? And even perhaps a little bit cheerful and uplifting. After all, who would reject a well-wish of love and light? But when taken as a complete spiritual philosophy, love and light becomes hollow and it becomes a distortion, because it glosses over the raw, shadowy, and painful aspects of our spiritual journeys. It omits the essential truth that is echoed across many spiritual traditions. Without darkness, there is no light, and without struggle, there is no transformation. True spiritual maturity demands that we embrace the full spectrum of existence. There is darkness as well as light. There is order as well as chaos. There is descent as well as ascent. So this video here is going to go into talking about both polarities. That, sure, we try to stay away from the dense and the heavy, but both aspects of the center are still necessary. And what we'll find in Taoism, Buddhism, Hinduism, Hermeticism, Kabbalah, Jungian psychology, as well as Christian mysticism, is that our spiritual path must include, not exclude, darkness. There is the yin and yang of the soul in Taoism, because Taoism is all about the balance. Taoism offers one of the clearest frameworks for understanding the necessity of balance. At the heart of Taoist philosophy lies the symbol of yin and yang. This is a circle of black and white, each containing a seed of the other. The yin associated with darkness, stillness, and the moon, and the feminine is not evil. The yang linked with light, the activity, the sun, and the masculine is not superior. Rather, both are interdependent forces, and life emerges from their dynamic interplay. Lao Tzu writes in the Tao Te Ching, Know the white, but keep to the black. Be a pattern to the world. In other words, to be a whole, we must acknowledge and integrate both aspects, because suppressing darkness under the guise of spiritual positivity, that's not true enlightenment at all. That is the creation of imbalance. Taoism teaches that harmony arises not from denial, but from the flow, from letting each aspect of existence and being fulfill its proper role. In Hinduism, we talk about the churning of the ocean and the alchemy of opposites. In Hindu cosmology, the story of Samudra Manthan, the churning of the ocean, provides a powerful metaphor. The gods, the devas, and the demons, the asuras, cooperated to churn the cosmic ocean using a mountain and a serpent. What emerged from this violent, chaotic act were both poisons and divine gifts. Among them was Amrita, the nectar of immortality, but only after the gods and demons faced the emergence of Halahala, the lethal venom of the Lord Shiva, absorbed to protect the universe. This particular tale shows that divine reward is born of both conflict and chaos. Even the gods must engage with darkness to reveal divine treasure. Hinduism teaches that each guna, the tamas of darkness and inertia, the rajas of activity, the sattva purity, plays a role in the cosmic cycle. A soul that seeks only sattva while avoiding the tamas and the rajas will remain naive and imbalanced. The goddess Kali, one of my favorite, of course, often feared for her terrifying appearance. She's not really evil. She is the fierce face of divine compassion and the destroyer of ego and illusion. Her darkness is not absence of light. It is the womb of rebirth, and it is the crucible of transformation. In Buddhism, we have to face Mara, where we embrace dukkha, dukkha being suffering. In the Buddhist teachings, the spiritual journey begins not with bliss, but with a confrontation of dukkha, which is the suffering. The Buddha's enlightenment did not begin with avoidance, but with sitting beneath the Bodhi tree, determined to face Mara, the demon of delusion and desire. Mara tried to tempt, to terrify, and to distract the Buddha from awakening. Spiritual bypassing is the attempt to leapfrog pain in pursuit of light. You have to do the work. Not doing the work is antithetical to Buddhism itself. One must face the Four Noble Truths, especially the first. Life contains suffering. The goal is not to stay in the light, but to understand the cause of suffering and to transcend it through right view, through right intention, and through mindfulness. In Tibetan Vajrayana, deities are depicted with both peaceful and wrathful forms. The wrathful ones, flaming, fanged, and altogether terrifying, are manifestations of wisdom energy, burning through ego and illusion. They're not evil. They're blessings in disguise. They're reminders that true liberation requires fierce compassion. What about Christian mysticism? Well, as I've discussed on this channel many times, we have the dark night of the soul. In the West, the mystical tradition of Christianity echoes this necessity of darkness through the writings of St. John of the Cross. And it is he who come to coin the phrase, so to speak, right? The dark night of the soul, the DNOS. The spiritual darkness is not a punishment. It is a purification. It is the stripping away of ego. It is the burning away of attachments. And it is the shedding of false light. In the dark night, God may seem absent. Prayers may go unheard or unanswered. But he's always listening. Those prayers do not go to waste. The test of your faith. It's a forge for spiritual maturity. Even Yeshua HaMashiach descended into hell after the crucifixion, and this is known as the harrowing of hell, which symbolizes a necessary journey into shadow. His resurrection did not come without crucifixion. His rebirth did not come without death. And the light of Resurrection Sunday only dawns after the darkness of Good Friday. The obsession with constant light, blessings, and bliss ignores the full mystery of the Messiah's path, which included grief, betrayal, and solitude, as well as spiritual struggle. The true Christian mystic does not run from suffering. This is where they come to meet God. We turn to Judaism and the Kabbalah, the Sephirot and the Qliphoth. In Jewish mysticism, particularly in Kabbalah, maps creation through the tree of light, which is composed of 10 Sephiroth, each representing a divine emanation. These Sephiroth are mirrored by their dark halves, the Qliphoth, the shells or the husks, representing an imbalance, a corruption, or an unintegrated aspect of the divine. To ascend the tree of light is not to avoid the Qliphoth, but to confront and refine the 10 corresponding husks. The Kabbalist understands that divine light often comes veiled in shadow. The process of tikkun, or repair, involves restoring balance to fractured divine sparks embedded even seemingly in apparent evil. Kabbalah does not present good and evil as binary, but as energies that become holy or unholy based on their integration. Too much chesed, or mercy, without gevura, which is severity, leads to chaos. Too much discipline without love becomes tyranny. Balance is what is truly divine. In Hermeticism and alchemy, we have the Latin phrase salve et coagula. The Hermetic and alchemical traditions of the West stress transformation through paradox. The motto salve et coagula, dissolve and recombine, expresses the idea that spiritual evolution requires breaking apart old identities, transmuting base matter, typically lead, into spiritual gold. Darkness in alchemy is known as the nigredo stage, which is the blackening, and some might even come to call it the putrefaction. It is the necessary decomposition before the illumination, which is the albedo, and the final integration, which is the rubedo. Without nigredo, there can be no gold. Without death, there can be no resurrection. Hermeticism teaches that all is one, and that all opposites, light and dark, spirit and matter, masculine and feminine, must be reconciled to attain the bastion of truth, the philosopher's stone. And this is where we reach a point of divine wholeness. Carl Jung teaches us about shadow integration and the individuation process. In modern depth psychology, Carl Jung echoed the mystical truths in secular language. He argued that every person has a shadow, the repressed, the denied aspects of the psyche. Spiritual growth requires facing the shadow, not denying it. Jung warned that many spiritual seekers engage in spiritual bypassing. That's where they use positive thinking or mystical practices to avoid deep psychological work. This creates what would be called a false persona, the mask of light, that covers but does not heal the inner wounds because the work was never done. It is only covered up. The individuation is the process of becoming whole, and that requires the integration of both shadow and light, the conscious and the unconscious. Jung famously said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. And this is where we come to the danger of one-sided spirituality. When I first started on my spiritual awakening path, and I heard many practitioners speak about balancing the dark and the light, I thought that's just so strange, that it seems counterintuitive to me. But over time I came to realize the truth in it. We can't deny suffering. We are not spiritually inferior because we're not always positive enough all the time. We're not spiritually great because we suppress the shadow. Pushing darkness into the unconscious where it becomes toxic or projected onto others is not the way. Naivete in spiritual warfare leaves the soul unprepared for real spiritual attacks, for karmic reckoning and ego death. And I've spoken on the channel many times about the dangers of spiritual warfare. You can't have a false ascension, because false ascension is trying to rise without doing the work. And that's a bypass of the very soul work that evolution requires. To seek only light is to reject half of God. It is to reject the mystery. From all things the source came. So why do we think that the darkness is something to be feared when it came from the source as well? We need to integrate, not avoid. The warrior saint, the mystic, the shaman all recognize that the initiation process requires some form of descent. The underworld, the shadow realm, the inner cave, these are not deviations from the path, but they are indeed a part of it. Balance is not passive, it is dynamic equilibrium. It is the dance of Shiva. It is the breath of the Tao. It is the tension of the cross. You must descend into your fears. You must meet your rage. You must feel your grief, and you must allow them to teach you. Then, and only then, can you ascend with wisdom. I struggle in my dreams at night when I'm always attacked in the ethers. And so, when I meet my opponents with brute force and vicious resolve, I don't deny that part of me. If I have to destroy and kill, I destroy and kill. But I also like to save as well. But some things aren't always worthy of being saved. The night is not the enemy of day. It is the womb in which days were born. And if you deny that part of yourself that is for your protection, then you will become a target and you will become vulnerable. Your task is not to stay in the light. Your task is to become the vessel that can hold both light and dark, to be a bridge, to be a balance, to be a flame in the void. You're the alchemist. You're unrelenting. You're the awakened one. You are the mystic who knows the true divinity wears both a crown and a shadow. In the end, love and light are not wrong, but they are not the whole story. Until we learn how to walk with both grace and grit, with our staff of light in one hand and our poison dagger in the other, then we won't realize that we have both the halo and the horns, the rose and the thorns, and we will remain incomplete. God is not incomplete, nor are you. So don't be afraid. Integrate your whole. Thank you for joining me in the sacred hour. This has been the Unrelenting Alchemist. Until next time, you walk wisely, you walk bravely, and when the dark calls, you balance it out. You answer it with fire and light. Take care. And if I don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I love you.